What's going on YouTube? This is NYG for everyone here. Today I'm going to just do the Bears preview. There's no hate against the Bears. As you all know, the Bears got a good stout front seven and a secondary. But I don't think that secondary and that front seven is going to do nothing to stop our penetration. Because our offensive line will find Saquon holes and we'll hit those holes. But first of all, what we're going to do is going to hit you with the pass. And by the time we hit you with the pass, we're going to gas that secondary. And then we're going to hit you with that run. And we're going to gas your defensive line to death. Because by the time your defensive line is gassed, they're going to be too slow to stop Saquon Barkley. The key to the game is stop Mr. Trubisky. Make sure he does not throw for 300 or 400 yards. And make sure you keep him in the pocket, because you don't, he's going to get out the pocket and make plays. And he makes a lot of plays. Everybody say that Mr. Trubisky is overrated. But I don't think he's overrated. But what I want Mr. Trubisky to do is throw pick sixes to our secondary. Because our secondary came off a tough game against the Steelers. So did our offensive line. Our offensive line played shitty against the Steelers. Give up like 2 or 3 sacks. I don't think it's going to be no different against the Bears. But what that being said, we're going to run block the shit out of the D-line of the Bears. Because let's face it, if we gash them with that run block and that run offense, is over. The Bears have no chance and no shot at stopping us when they gash. Because when we gash that secondary will be tight as hell. You see, we come off a bad loss against the Steelers. And our young roster needs a win. And our young secondary definitely needs a win. So is Saquon Barkley and our offensive line. And you got to know that we have a very, very young offensive line. Very inexperienced offensive line against that front seven of the Bears. But the fact is, the Bears got to give us that victory so we won't go 0-2. So the Bears and us could be tied 1 in 1 piece. But the thing is, we got to win this Sunday. Daniel Jones cannot turn over the ball. I mean, he cannot throw pick sixes like he did against the Steelers. He has to read defenses. The offensive line has to be crisp in that game, because if he doesn't be crisp in that game, it's over. And that defense has to do what they do against Ben Roethlisberger for the Steelers. Do the same thing against Mr. Trubisky, because let's face it, if you keep Mr. Trubisky in the pocket, he is prone to make mistakes. And that's exactly what I want Mr. Trubisky to do. Make some mistakes so we can win that game. So we got to run that ball down their throat. Gas that defensive line. Gas that secondary. And once we gas that secondary, it's over. That's all she wrote. Because if we use pick sixes on Mr. Trubisky, we could win that game. The Bears will be down by 2 touchdowns. That's all I'm going to say about it. Keys of the game is run that damn football. Stop the run. Stop the pass. Make sure we pass over 100 yards for each wide receivers. Make sure Daniel Jones keep clean the pocket. Make sure our offensive line does his job. That goes for Andrew Thomas, Will Hernandez, Nick Gates, Kevin Zeitler, and Cam Fleming. Cam Fleming, you must not miss assignments, man, because last week against the Steelers, you were shitty. You even block a soul, man. You allow Joe Dupree, T.J. Watt, Stephon Tuitt to sack Daniel Jones. We cannot have that against this Bears defense, because we're going up against Robert Quinn and Khalil Mack. And we're going up Danny Trevathan and Roquan Smith. So we got to be in our P's and Q's offensive line. And Daniel Jones, you got to be in P's and Q's with your passing too. Because I don't like that goal line interception. Take care of the ball. Make sure you don't fumble like you did last week, and we'll be fine. And until then, go Giants. This is NYG31, signing out.